Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We've got another bike in for woolich mapping. This time it's a Gsxr 750 2016-17, I think it is, the MotoGP colours. So it's had decal headers, R11 slip-on exhaust, and we're going to just about do some dyno prep to get it ready for the dyno work. So we've got to put some wires into the ECU on this one from the woolich, like I say, loom, and then we'll block the pair valve off, disconnect the lambda sensor, load of base map in, ready for some base runs on the dyno to get the FR data, and then we'll build the map on the dyno with the auto tune, and then yeah, we'll do some after runs and see what gains we get. I've done a few of these now, so I say they normally get good gains. They run quite lean low down, so yeah, it should get a lot better throttle response and usability, and gain a few horsepower as well as an added extra. So yeah, keep watching, please like and subscribe. Thanks very much. So we've got the Gsxr on the bench. We've just fitted a new set of spark plugs as the customer wasn't sure when the last plugs were done. And we've just put in the ECU lead for the engine data. That will plug into another lead that goes to the woolich software. And then we can get it on the dyno for some base runs. So yeah, there's a bit involved, like some bikes are more involved than others to get ready for the dyno work. And this one, like I say, got to put a couple of leads in. Some of the new bikes, like sort of 22 onwards, you can flash straight through the diagnostic plug, where a lot of the earlier bikes, like I say, like these and the earlier MT10s, MT09s, etc., you've got to plug in an extra lead to get the live data, to be able to use the auto tune and keep an eye on all the settings like temperature, stuff like that. So when the bike's on the dyno, I'll always keep the bike within a certain temperature, which is normal kind of operating temperatures really. Anything between, like sort of normally between 70, 80 degrees. Once it goes above 85, I'll stop the mapping process, wait until the engine cools down, which isn't very often because I've got massive cooling fans on the dyno to like sort of blow fresh air into the radiators and the airbox. So it's not very often that you've got to stop the mapping process. You can do it all within the, like I say, 70, 80 degrees, which is normally what they're run at on the road. So that is the best kind of temperature range to keep it in. And you've also got to warm the bike up. So I'll always, before the bike goes on the dyno, warm the bike up to operating temperature, let it go slightly above. I normally let the fans kick in, or at least get to 90 degrees. And then you know the thermostat is open, so all the coolant in the system is running at a very similar temperature. What you don't want to happen is have it at 70 degrees, do a power run, and then the thermostat opens, a rush of cold coolant goes into the cylinder, and that can cause issues because it can shrink the cylinder, and obviously under high load on the dyno that's not a very good idea. So it's nice to let the coolant get all to say like very similar temperature, and then just control the temperature from them when it's warmed up with, like say, the dyno fans, etc., to keep the engine within safe engine temperatures. Like if it ever went up to like sort of above 85, 90 degrees, then I'd stop any dyno work and let it cool down. But like I say, the fans on the dyno are very, very good, very efficient. And there's my dyno trailer. At the moment, I've still got to take the dyno outside to do all the mapping so the exhaust fumes go out, but I've just ordered a Wappinger fan, which will be rigged up. That will be rigged up inside, so it's going to be running through some silencers and then blowing the gas straight out of the exhaust fume straight outside. So then I'll be able to keep the trailer inside. One, it's more secure. Two, I can do more dyno work because I'm less restricted on when I can do it. And I've also got a massive air intake fan coming as well, with a variable speed controller, so I should be able to get roughly around about 140, 150 mile an hour wind blast into the airbox. So when I'm doing the power runs, it will be more closely matched to what it will actually see out on the road. So yeah, looking forward to getting that all rigged up within the next like sort of 4 or 5 weeks, hopefully. So yeah, keep an eye on the page. Thanks very much. Keep watching. So we had a bit of an interesting one with the Gsxr 750 on the dyno last night. I bench flashed a base map into it, turning all the O2 sensor and exhaust valve servo and stuff off. Put the ECU in, ran the bike, ran absolutely fine. The FI light was on, which I need to have a look at. And then I plugged in the woolich loom and logbox and stuff to get the live data from the bike, and it wasn't working for some reason. And so I tried looking at firing up my Gsxr diagnostic. I tried running the diagnostic codes on the woolich, it wouldn't talk to the bike. Tried firing up my Gsxr and it wouldn't talk to the bike, so I'm like, oh, I'm a bit stumped there. I've got no clue. So diagnostics doesn't always tell you exactly what's wrong with the bike, but it gives you an idea to look in. And I had no way of reading any diagnostic fault codes or anything like that. So I was struggling to figure out what was the matter with the bike, and it was 9:30 at night. I thought I'm just going to pack up, go home. But come in this morning and had a look and found a bit of a problem with the bike. So this is a diagnostic plug that plugs into the woolich and the Gsxr, and if you can see there, one of the wires has been pulled out. So what I also tried last night was plugging in to the split pin in between the white and red and black and white, so it brings up normally a code on the dash. So you don't need a diagnostic computer, but that wasn't working either. And like I say, investigating it, I now know why. Is like I say, the wire had been pulled out the back of the plug. So we're going to make a repair on that, get it back on the dyno, and hopefully that's sorted it. Yeah, buddy, so I've sorted the problem with the diagnostic connector. I soldered and repaired the wire. So I can now plug in, get the fault codes. There's a few fault codes in there, stored in the ECU. So I cleared all those and turned the ignition back on, and it was still coming on, the FI light. So I was like, I need to investigate this a bit further. Looked at the fault codes, and the only one that come up was the air pressure sensor malfunction. And so I thought the atmospheric pressure sensor. And look at that, another wire pulled out. So this is one of those typical examples of like sort of having an engine management issue with the light on and thinking that remapping is going to sort the problem out, and it's not. Obviously it needs the atmospheric sensor to be able to obviously see what it's doing, basically where it's sea level and stuff, to adjust the fuel in, ignition timing, etc. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try and get in there, repair that wire as well, and hopefully get it sorted and get it on the dyno map this afternoon once everything is fixed. That's 2016 Gsxr 750 all wrapped up. Got some nice gains out of this one. So ironed out a massive dip in the mid-range at around about 8,000 RPM. Gone from 73 to 79 horsepower. Nice gains all the way up from 7,000 RPM really. 121 to 126 maximum. And then down the bottom here, we've gained 6 horsepower. Gone from 30 to 36, and that's due to this massive lean spot here, and it goes lean all the way across. So this dash red line is roughly where you want to try and aim to get your air fuel ratio, and you can see above it is lean, below is rich, and there's a massive lean dip here, which is why we've gained a fair bit of power there. And then obviously in the mid-range, like I say, my red line, my air fuel ratio is almost bang on all the way across, so that's why it's gained power everywhere really. But you got this little lean, extra lean spot here that I've ironed out, and that's gained 73 to 80 horsepower there. So yeah, massive gains. Well, not massive, but nice gains all the way along. And the low end throttle was just as good, so it should drive a lot better. Hopefully the customer is happy. I'm going to road test the bike and get it all wrapped up. Thanks very much.